Like to call the regular county commissioner meeting for October 21st to order. And I would like to welcome those in attendance. And we'll get this started in just a minute. Our county manager is handing out some additional documents. And we will call it to order, and I'm going to recognize Vice Chairman Mike Barbie for an invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner.
We all bow our heads, please. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for another beautiful day. And please guide us tonight as we do the business of the county. Help us to make decisions on the best interests of our citizens and that be pleasing to you. Please bless our military, please our fire and rescue personnel and our citizens. Please bless our county, our country, and lift it up from all the burdens it has. We pray for Israel and peace around the world. We thank thee for all the blessings you have given us and our county. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Barbie. We do not have anyone signed up for public comments, but before we move to public comments, I would ask that the commissioners review the agenda, and if there's any changes, please tell me what they might be. If they're not, we'll look for a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to amend budget item number 7, or actually correction number 6, with the budget amendment request being the correction of the $10,000 increase in what it shows in our packet.
Okay, thank you. Other changes?
Mr. Commissioner, I'd also like to recognize the, I guess this resolution that County Manager Lucas gave us just a few minutes ago. If you want to put it, I don't know.
Yeah, recognizing and proclaiming World San Filippo Day.
Yeah.
And Ms. Haywood will be here to make a presentation.
Okay, we want to do that at item 7.
Could we do it, go ahead and do it at 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it at 1 since there's no public comments. Okay. So, who's coming?
Ms. Haywood? Is here.
And I believe the date that needs to be observed is November 16th.
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, am I good to go?
Well, you might now.
Oh. Okay, sorry, I've never done this. Okay, so my name is Ashley Haywood, and my daughter is Sadie Ray Haywood. She's back there. You'll hear her.
Hey, Sadie.
We had to bring the iPad to calm it down and keep her quiet for a little bit. But so thank you all for having me here today. I'm here to bring your attention to an important cause that affects individuals and families in our community, World San Filippo Awareness Day. It is observed annually on November 16th to raise awareness about Sanfilippo syndrome, which is a rare and devastating genetic disorder that primarily affects children. Individuals with Sanfilippo typically experience severe neurological symptoms, leading to progressive loss of skills and function, and it ultimately shortens their lifespan. My daughter, Sadie, has this devastating type of childhood dementia, and her life expectancy is around mid-teens. Despite the bleak outcome and the lack of treatment, Sadie has brought light to millions worldwide through our social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Her infectious joy and love for life have taught many in our community and country and the world about making the most of each moment. Sadie has motivated her community to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars towards research and treatment for Sanfilippo. While Sanfilippo is rare, it has impacted at least 2 children in our community. Lindsay Efert also had Sanfilippo syndrome, but she sadly passed away at 21 years old. Her family is one of our closest neighbors in Albemarle, but we had never met them before this diagnosis. As we work to support other affected families and raise awareness about this heartbreaking condition, I request the consideration in issuing a proclamation to officially recognize World Sanfilippo Awareness Day in Stanley County. By issuing this proclamation, we can show solidarity with families like mine who are impacted by Sanfilippo, and we can help educate our community about the importance of diagnosis, research efforts, and support services available. So thank you so much for your consideration and helping us make a difference in this disease. And I'm happy to answer any questions about the disease, the day, or Sadie.
So what causes this today?
It's a genetic disease, so both parents have to be a carrier, and it's 1 in about 70 to 80,000 births, so it's very rare. It doesn't get a lot of attention, a lot of medical research because it's so rare.
Any local doctors help y'all? Or?
Actually, there is a very big, prominent Sanfilippo doctor at Chapel Hill, so we're not too far from him. So we're very lucky to be that close to him.
Any other questions or comments? I do have a question.
Sure.
Does Sadie attend
She's
Public
in
school?
yeah, she's in public school. She's in Richfield.
Richfield?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and
And they have a wonderful special education department there.
thank you for
Yes,
that, yeah.
yes, it's amazing.
Go, no, you go ahead.
And how old did you say she was?
She's 8. She'll be 9 in March.
Because I remember when she was born and it all started, and when
Yeah.
y'all started that.
Yeah,
and
we've
little
had
stickers and
lots of
everything else, and
fundraisers.
It just shows what love can do. There's a lot of
Yeah.
love.
Yeah, the disease is awful and terrible, and we do show that. But she just has this really bright joy for life, and it's really infectious. Even coming from her mom, like it really is.
Any other questions? Nita, I'd like to seek a motion that we ask our county attorney, Ms. Furr, to draw up a resolution marking November 16th as Sanfilippo
Sanfilippo, yes, sir.
Sanfilippo Syndrome Day. And Ms. Furr, I'm sure you'll be willing to do that, aren't you?
Thank
We
you.
need a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make that motion that we approve the proclamation.
Okay, we got a first, Commissioner Eford, second Vice Chairman Barbie. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Yay.
Do you think she would want her picture made with our board?
I was going to ask that, but I didn't want to come out with it first. I didn't want to come in
Okay.
hot.
Well, we're going to come down where you are. and
Yeah.
If you'll go get your daughter or
Yes, of course.
any other family member that you want.
Yeah, we can get a whole group picture.
Okay.
Okay. No touching the computer.
Hey, Sadie.
Here, I'll get over here and balance it out a bit. No, it's all right. Can y'all get a wide angle there?
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Sadie.
Okay, do you mind if we get our families in
No.
too?
More the merrier.
Do you mind taking the picture?
I have a granddaughter.
There.
What's her middle name?
Della.
Oh, that's cute too.
Hey,
oh, I'm sorry.
Sadie, it's all
She
good.
likes to throw glasses.
She's all good.
You say cheese?
Here we go.
Get lost. Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all so much.
Send that to us.
Yes.
You can get our email or something.
They won't send that
I
picture.
remembered Lindsay when
Thank
she
y'all
was
so
going through all
much.
that.
Oh,
Thank
really?
y'all.
Remember Lindsay?
Yeah.
That was my daughter.
Oh, yeah,
y'all
I
so
remember
much.
when she was going through all that.
And now
She was much more profound because she didn't get the clinical trial like Sadie was able to get. So Lindsay was far worse than Sadie. So we really loved living through Sadie.
And Hannah's like her big sister.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
for coming. I
Thank y'all
appreciate
very
it.
much.
Thank you.
That's easy.
oh, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, we need to have a public hearing for 2025 schedule of values. Presenter is Clinton Swearingen, our tax administrator. I know, comes often.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. I'm happy to be with you again tonight. We were here 2 weeks ago and presented the 2025 Schedule of Values, and I'm here tonight to hold the public hearing as required by General Statute 105-317. That General Statute says the public hearing must be held at least 7 days prior to the adoption of the Schedule of Values, which right now the Schedule of Values is on your adoption timeline to be to be adopted November the 4th at your next meeting. So that's 14 days from now, so we're well within that 7-day time frame to get these schedules, hold the public hearing. So that's what I asked the board to do tonight, is to hold the public hearing.
Okay, I'll declare public hearing open. Is there anybody here to speak for or against schedule of values for 2025? Don't see anyone. Nobody's upset yet, Clinton. I'll declare the public hearing closed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll be back November 4th to get those schedules adopted, and then they will run in the paper once a week for 4 weeks after that as required by law. So, all right. Thank you, board.
Clinton,
Thank you.
Don't go nowhere.
Sure.
Schedules available online?
They're online on the Stanley County Tax Administration website. They're available hard copies in our office, in Central Administration, in the Albemarle Library, and in the Locust Library. So they're all available there for anybody to look at.
Thank you.
question also, Clinton. The schedules, are they written in stone by the state, or do we have any leeway in that?
No, the schedules are 100% our makeup, what we choose to put in them. And that's driven by the market and what things are selling for and what the prices of land and houses, commercial buildings, all that's driven into the schedule. So the state really has no say over the schedule of values. It's for each county to decide, because each county is different in what they're experiencing in the market. So it could be, here in the Piedmont, we're all pretty much the same. But it may be different at the coast than it is here. So, but the schedules are up to us to put together, or more so Charles than me.
That schedule's totally set by the tax assessor's office,
That's correct.
not anything to do with the Board of Commissioners or anything like
No,
that? Okay.
no. What it ensures, Commissioner King, is that a C-grade house, an average house in Richfield, and an average house in Locust are going to start at the exact same base rate. So that's the main thing, is that everything is treated equally and fairly. So if you look at a property record card in our office, you're going to see a C-grade house at this base rate, no matter where it's at in the county. And that's what that's all about, is creating fairness and equity.
With the land use rates.
What,
Yeah.
and what determines I'm assuming there's an A, B, and a C grade.
Correct.
What determines those
Quality of
grades?
construction, design, and then the appraiser's knowledge of what they're looking at, and their years and years of knowing what kind of grade to put on it. Charles did just make a good point. So the present use value schedule, which is it's what we call it the farmer's discount, basically, where they have all this land and they're farming it, so the state allows them to be in this program to get that discount. We do adopt their schedule for that because we don't have the resources to study cash rents and what the prices of timber are and all that, and it's very specific to our region. So online, Mr. Barbie, both of those schedules are there. So the present use value schedule is coming from the Present Use Value Advisory Board that's got members from the Department of Revenue on it. And we do adopt that. And we're allowed to do our own for the present use value schedule, but we never have because we don't have the resources that they have to compile all those numbers. So
I appreciate that. And I asked in work session, just because I'm not that familiar with this part of it, and county manager was telling us that, this has to be done every 8 years, but we're in a 4-year cycle. And what do you think would be the detriment if we push this back 2 years or another? I mean, just your opinion, because you've done this forever. And
yeah, my opinion is you're going to lose a ton of money in public service money because right now our latest sales ratio study, we were about 34% low on the average sale. And so right now the citizens of Stanley County are reaping that benefit. They're at a low value when their values are really much higher than what we're taxing them on. And so years and years and years ago, all the public service companies, Duke Power, Piedmont Natural Gas, Windstream, they all raised their hand. They said, why are we getting taxed at 100% when all the citizens are saving money because the sales ratio is lower? And the state agreed with them. So if you're not on a 4-year cycle, you're going to get pushed by the state into a mandated revaluation. And until that date comes, the public service companies are getting a lower value than what they are paying on now. So for rough estimates for 2024, public service money value is $269 million. So you're only going to get about 64% of that. So you're going to lose $90 million in value to public service companies, which at the current tax rate is about $575,000 a year by delaying it.
when you say public service, you're talking about internet service, phone service, or not public safety service?
No, it's all, anything that's basically a monopoly. You only have so many choices to buy your power. Duke Power, City of Albemarle, but they buy theirs from Duke. Piedmont Natural Gas, Windstream, trains, railroads, Carolina, Aberdeen, Western, all those fall into that. So, and we just got a significant increase this year from Piedmont Natural Gas for all that work they've done putting those new lines in. So, and y'all control half of the scenario. My office sets the value, the Board of Commissioners sets the tax rate. So just because your value goes up doesn't mean that your tax bill is going up. Now, obviously, this board has no control over the cities and the towns. They're going to do what they want to do. But this board does have control over the county's rate and the volunteer fire departments.
I appreciate the clarity. I mean, that's what I was looking for is I wanted to, show that we're not doing this just because it's something that we want to penalize the taxpayer or anything
Absolutely
like that.
not. And that's my last 4 years ago in 2021, me and Charles went around to all the municipalities. I say all, we didn't go to all 10 of them, but we think we went to 7. And, tried to let them know you control half this scenario with your tax rate. So just because the value goes up 35% or 30% doesn't mean that your tax bill is going up 30%. That's the whole purpose of the revenue neutral rate. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Which by statute, I have to show you what revenue neutral is in my budget. I don't necessarily have to recommend it, but I have to show you what revenue neutral is. You'll see a whole formula, almost an entire page of the budget will, in the budget book will show how we calculate the revenue neutral tax rate. So you know exactly what revenue neutral is.
And the other detriment is I don't have a crystal ball. The economy may be worse 2 years. I mean, it may be even better. So instead of looking at a 30 or 40% increase, it may be an 80% increase. And at that time, our hands are going to be tied, and we're going to have to do it. And it's going to be what it's going to be. But I feel pretty confident. Cabarrus County just had theirs in 2024. They were at a 56% increase on average. Union County's is 2025, just like ours. I talked to Van Harrell a few days ago. They're at like 67%. It's going to be their average increase. So it's not just us. It's all the counties around us. And if you've gone out and tried to buy anything, you know. You know.
Question, and Andy, this may be to you. Fire department, fire tax rates, they're set now. I mean, values going up. Will they review their rate, or will we review?
I have to tell you what the revenue neutral tax rate is for all of those as well. So there'll be a series of sheets in your budget, and if you go back and look at 4 years ago, that we did the same thing. But there'll be a series of sheets in your budget that show the revenue neutral tax rate for the county overall, and then for every single fire district. Okay. So you'll know now, in the past, the board hasn't done any revenue neutral rates for the fire departments. You've given them basically the rate they have today. But we have to show you. I have a statutory obligation to tell you what their revenue neutral tax rate is.
Any other questions? Thank you, Clinton.
All right, we'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
Yeah, appreciate what y'all do.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Dolly Clayton, the Consolidated Human Service Board appointments. Hello, Dolly.
Hello. Good evening, Commissioners. Glad
Like a
to
song.
be here tonight.
Hello, Dolly.
That's right. So I come to you to let you know that the Consolidated Human Services Board made a recommendation that Mr. Jeremy Almond fill the nursing position on the board. And he came to our October meeting and expressed his desire to serve. He initially applied back in July 2023, but we did not have any vacancies at that time. In, I believe, like December of 2023, the nursing position was open. Since that time, he's been the only applicant for the nursing position, and the HHS Human Services Board recommends that you appoint him. You should know, just as an aside, Mr. Almond is the husband of one of the health employees, and she serves as the medical office assistant laboratory tech. However, the Human Services Board did not feel that there was any perceived conflict of interest that would disallow him to serve in the role. I did, and by the legal statute, there is no conflict of interest. However, there could potentially be the perceived conflict of interest, and so you need to be aware of that. And so, in making your decision tonight.
Other questions?
I make a motion that we approve Jeremy Almond. That's what it was, right, Jeremy?
Okay, we got a first by Commissioner Shudo, second by Commissioner Hatley.
Quick comment. I would trust that if there were a conflict or perceived conflict to arise in this, it would probably be something specific or something that I'm sure he would recuse himself.
Yes, that is the expectation. That has been discussed with him by me.
Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Dolly.
Thank you.
Next, we have Stanley County Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Directors appointment, Casey Brooks. Ms. Brooks, welcome as the new CVB. Hasn't been too long. How long?
Yes, sir. It's creeping up on me since May, actually.
May,
so
okay.
we're getting towards the one annual, so it's coming fast. But
You enjoying your job?
yes, I am. It's
Good.
been a pleasure and starting to get out and really be able to meet a lot of folks. So it's been very rewarding, and
Yeah.
hopefully the service is going well. But thank you guys for having me tonight. I just want to briefly update you guys and ladies. Amanda Rowland has since left the Stanley County Agri Civic Center. I'm sure you guys are aware of her resignation, and we're now needing to appoint someone to fill that role for that appointment on our board. Again, we meet once a month, the second Wednesday morning of the month. And our proposal would be Annie Brown to fulfill that 3-year term. Annie came to us willingly after actually filling the role at the Agri-Civic Center with Chris. Annie's experience with the CVB, she was an intern for many years, has a pretty vast amount of knowledge, and I think would be a huge asset for us. So I just come tonight to propose her and see what your feedback is on that, or if you were to appoint someone else.
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Annie Brown to the vacant position.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Commissioner Eford, second. Any discussion?
Will we need her to fill out an application for Tyler to have on file?
No, she's a county employee, so I don't believe so. Yeah.
We're allowed to appoint 2 members of that board, and that's it.
Any feedback?
Typically appointed somebody from the Agri-Civic Center, since it is always, it's such a big draw for events and tourism-related things. So in the past, someone from like Candace, when Candace was director, she was on the CVB board, Amanda. So I think Dosha Swearingen was as well.
Any other questions before we vote? Comments? All in favor of Ann Brown being appointed as a county representative to the CVB Board of Directors until June 30th, 2027, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you. That's all the trouble I bring tonight.
Okay.
Y'all have a good evening.
Just get us more heads in beds. That's what we need. Okay. Mr. Steve Dutton, Transportation Service Director. 5311 Community Transportation Program, fiscal year 2026. Welcome, Mr. Dutton.
Well, thank you. Glad to be here. This is our public hearing portion of our fiscal year 26 DOT grant process and this one is both combined administration and capital. Normally we do them separately, but we had asked the state to make an exception and change our process of purchasing vehicles, that allotment that we were looking at for fiscal year 26, because we have a couple of old transit vans that are quite honestly not able to be used. In fact, we ran them less than 300 miles last year because of rain damage and rot of the floor. They're not safe to transport. So they agreed, and so that's why this is a bit of a change from in the past. We were allotted one vehicle for 26, and we asked for the petition based on years of age on those other 2 vehicles to be able to remove those, sell those without losing our space, and replace them with 2 vehicles that we currently use for transport, which will accommodate 12 or 14 people. And so we combined those together at their recommendation because it was kind of a last-minute thing to slide this under their deadline, and DOT approved it. So our administrative portion is for $272,539. That covers primarily our salaries and things like for everybody in the department, and operational overhead for the administrative side of things. And then the combined capital of $270,000 is for the replacement of 2 vehicles. And the ones that we're retiring are going to be our numbers 35 and 36. And the floors are so water soaked, I can literally push them down with my thumb, and they won't support weight. You can't use the lift to bring the wheelchairs up. So, and I provided videos of that to NCDOT for their consideration and decision, and they approved it. So, we're at the process now, I guess, where we need the public hearing. We've had our public notification that has been in the newspapers, and present that to you for your consideration. Both of them are just barely right around 30. I think there's about 31,000 on one of them, 35,000 on the other. There had been years ago some damage to the roof, and they had repaired that, but unfortunately they didn't get it sealed, and it went down to the floor, which the subfloor is made of basically plywood, marine grade plywood. Pardon me? Though they're 25 foot, both of them are 25 foot. Passengers 14 to, if you don't have wheelchair in them, you could get 16 in them. And the ones we're looking to replace them will do 12 to 14, and both of them would be handicap accessible and have lifts and all. And as we're starting to see our demographics are showing we're starting to recover and increasing from what we lost due to COVID-19, we really have a need for these other vehicles. Right now, we're turning down some business that we were able to use those, we'd be able to cover. And as we see the continued growth that's projected in the western side of the county in particular, this also helps position us to maneuver in that direction as that continues to grow.
Are these vehicles just out in the open, or they have
Yes, sir.
garages they're parked in?
No, sir. They're parked outside, and we take good care of them. Right now, we've moved them off the lot and put them in the back once DOT approved to be able to sell those and get rid of them, and because they're not usable. And we have received 2 new vehicles in the last fiscal year, and we're parking those out there because they're in transit use every day.
270,000 cover 2 vehicles?
Yes, sir. That's actually a little over. Our cost on the last 14-footer that we had was $112,000, and our 12-footer is about $109,000 with the approved equipment by DOT. And it's when you submit for this, you always want to, you don't have to spend all that's allotted, but you can't go up, you can't spend more unless the county wants to put in local funds to match above and beyond that. And
Okay, and our local funds are 10%, which would be 27,000.
yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions, Mr. Dutton? Before we hold a public hearing?
Will the 67,000, will that come out of general fund, County Manager?
Yeah, that's 67 for the administrative and the capital, yeah. And there's money budgeted this year, so it's really just.
I got you.
Just taking the money from that's there this year and rolling it into next year, and that's really how we've done it for years. That there's really only incremental growth or decrease. There's either incremental increase or an incremental decrease, depending on how many vehicles we're getting in the SCUSA budget on an annual basis.
And also the way we'll wind up purchasing and acquiring those in our fiscal year, in accordance with DOT's fiscal year, we will purchase the one vehicle in fiscal year 25 that's already been approved and was in the budget, and then the second vehicle on this that will be approved will actually be in our fiscal year for 26. So we're not, From my limited perspective, let me put it that way, Mr. Lucas will know, we're not robbing Peter to pay Paul. We're not spending something we don't have.
Any other questions? I'll declare a public hearing open for the fiscal year, or to apply for the Community Transportation Program. Is there anybody here to speak for or against? Don't see anyone. Declared public hearing closed. Seeking a motion to approve a resolution to apply for and receive fiscal year 2026 Community Transportation Program funds from the Transportation Department.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the total of 542 with a local match request of $67,881 for the Transit Department.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner King. Do I have a second? Commissioner Shuto, second the motion. Any other discussion before we vote? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Contract award recommendation for Marshall McCoy Pump Station, force main replacement. Utility Director, Mr. Dwayne Wingo. Hello, Dwayne.
Hello. Thank you, Chairman, board members. On September 27th, a sewer leak was reported on Barbies Grove Road. This was in proximity to the entrance of the Stanley Wastewater Treatment Facility. Investigations revealed that ductile iron pipe, that is the force main, had deteriorated significantly due to prolonged exposure to hydrogen sulfide gas. This situation required immediate replacement of the damaged section of force main at the leak source. Further excavation indicated that the remaining force main leading uphill to Barbies Grove Baptist Church was also rapidly deteriorating, with visible holes in the top of the pipe evident. Crews temporarily covered and stabilized this pipe until a permanent solution could be arranged. Following the initial response, staff convened with representatives from State Utility Contracting and BRS Incorporated that Monday, September 30th, 2024. It was unanimously agreed that the situation was urgent, necessitating the need for the replacement of at least 700 linear feet of force main at the high spot section before and after Barbies Grove Baptist Church. After further discussion with the county manager and Chambers Engineering, it was decided there was sufficient time to process an informal bid to secure competitive pricing for this critical repair. Chambers Engineering and staff developed a bid package for the replacement of the 700 feet of 16-inch DIP with 16-inch PVC force main that is resistant to hydrogen sulfide gas. This project would commence just after the first driveway entrance to Barbies Grove Baptist Church and extend up and then down the hill. This area is particularly susceptible to the accumulation of hydrogen sulfide gas in the force main due to its elevated position and a steep descent towards West Stanley Wastewater Treatment Plant. This year, additional high points along the force main will be evaluated with any necessary pipe replacements incorporated into the Stanley County Sewer Master Plan, which aims for their completion within a 5-year window. Chambers Engineering is currently finalizing this comprehensive sewer master plan. Moreover, it is noted the upcoming West Stanley 2.5 million gallon per day plant expansion includes a new 16-inch parallel PVC force main. Once this parallel force main is installed, it will allow for scheduled replacements of the remaining sections of any existing deteriorating ductile iron pipe, thereby reducing the need for these emergency repair contracts. Bids for the replacement work were opened on October 15, 2024 at 2 p.m. The lowest bid was submitted by BRS Incorporated from Richfield, North Carolina, in the amount of $229,750. Dillinger Construction was the second low bidder at $442,690, followed by State Utility Contractors at $491,000. A bid tabulation has been prepared by Chambers Engineering and is attached. Following an evaluation of the submitted bids, staff recommends that Stanley County Board of Commissioners approve the informal bid from BRS Incorporated for the replacement of the 700-foot of the McCoy Pump Station force main situated near Barby's Grove Baptist Church. Additionally, it is requested the board authorize staff to execute a contract with BRS Incorporated for this project. Lastly, staff recommends that the board approve the accompanying budget amendments related to this project. These amendments include a transfer of $229,750 along with a contingency allowance of approximately 5%, totaling $11,500 for any unforeseen expenses. This results in a total budget amendment transfer of $241,250. This funding will be drawn from unspent American Rescue Plan funds allocated for the Meadow Creek Church Road Water Main Extension Project, thus eliminating the need to utilize retained earnings. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Wingo?
I think mine's just more of a comment. I was surprised to see the price differences between the bids that you received. I mean, the next highest was $200,000 more.
Yeah, and BRS, and I don't know how much public information, but Charlotte Mecklenburg Utilities has shut down approximately $500 million worth of work because they went over budget on their links transportation system. So a lot of the area contractors, BRS in particular, are looking for work at this point in time because those projects are been put on hold.
Yeah, I'm thankful it's a Stanley County company.
Me too, very much.
Yeah.
Is the system working good? That we put in at the pump station to eliminate a lot of that gas?
Yeah, but I mean, when this force main was put in, it was in 2009, so it had been a good number of years. And we need to evaluate the system, put in there's some better technology with air release valves that we're going to go in and try to put the high spots. My fear now is there's another this is kind of the big drop on the roller coaster where this happened, but there's some other high spots, particularly on Booger Hollow and the intersection of Barby's Grove, where we need to look at that one as well. I'm just hoping that we can, when we get this parallel force main in, it'll be in time that we won't have to go in and do this under emergency situations.
Other questions? What would the board like to do?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the bid by BRS Incorporated out of Richfield.
I second it.
First by Commissioner King, second by Commissioner Shuto. And I think the staff's recommending, and this is your motion, Commissioner King, the board approved the budget project amendments, including a transfer of $229,750 along with contingency allowance of 5%, totaling $11,500 for any unforeseen expenses. Result in a total budget amendment transfer of $241,241. Sorry, I didn't change mine. $241,250, and the funding will be drawn from the unspent ARPA funds allocated for the Meadow Creek Church Road Water Main Extension Project, thus eliminating the need to utilize retained earnings. That's pretty much what you said, isn't it, Commissioner King? Okay. And Commissioner Shuto, you agree with that?
Exactly.
All right. Is there any other discussion before we vote? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is the interlocal agreement for the West Stanley Wastewater Treatment Plant Expansion Project. County Manager Andy Lucas.
Yeah, thank you,
I keep
Mr.
calling you
Chairman.
Commissioner.
Oh, no,
When
I'm
you
not a
retire,
commissioner.
maybe.
No. When I retire, I'm gonna be retired.
So thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. This item is actually a utility-related item too. This is of our West Stanley wastewater treatment plant. The American Rescue Plan funding is getting close to the end, and we have to obligate those funds or we have to pay them back. And so the West Stanley wastewater treatment plant isn't out to bid yet. And so one of the options we have, the U.S. Treasury has offered is an interagency agreement that creates commitments of funds between two parties, which we do have with the Water and Sewer Authority in Stanley County. And so this agreement between, the interagency agreement between the county and the Water and Sewer Authority would create commitments, and we would be stipulating a funding commitment between both parties, and that'll meet the U.S. Treasury's obligation requirements so that we won't have to pay any of those funds back. And so we're asking, the board had previously committed 6.25 American Rescue Plans to the wastewater treatment plant. A total of 2.564 has been obligated to date and leaves a balance of 3.686 million. And so that's what's contemplated here in this draft local agreement. And then the Water and Sewer Authority will commit $25,000 towards that project, since they do have some water customers that will benefit from the ability to treat that water. And so this will allow us to meet the stipulations of the Treasury, so we're not in a situation where we have to pay funding back, because if we're in a bid situation, we'd be able to, had been part of the bid, we had a number we could bid, but it's not there yet because we haven't put it out to bid. So we had to come up with another way to obligate these funds, and this interagency agreement will allow us to do that. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Hearing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the interlocal agreement with Stanley Water and Sewer Authority.
Okay. Need a second?
I second.
Commissioner Shudo second the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, County Manager Lucas.
You're welcome.
Okay, we have the consent agenda, and I'm sure everybody's had time to look at it. Is there any item that would like to be pulled or discussed? If not, may I have a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
I have a Commissioner Shudo. Do we have a second? Okay, Commissioner King. Any discussion? All in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Okay. Brings us down to commissioner comments, and I'm going to start with Commissioner Crump.
No comment.
Commissioner Hatley.
I don't have much. Everybody go vote. That's it.
That's real important. Vice Chairman Barbie.
I'm good too. Thank you.
Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and speak. Yeah, I voted today. My wife did also. And I encourage anybody that's registered to vote, please vote. And the numbers so far are way exceeding the 2020 election. And if you don't vote, you don't have a right to complain. So please vote. Commissioner Eford.
I was going to say that too, but I won't. Halloween's coming up. Be sure your kids are safe. There's several things going on. Oprah's having one, I think, this weekend, Saturday, if I remember correctly. New London's having one. Locust is having one on Halloween night. So just be safe out there. This ain't Mayberry anymore, and there's a lot of crazy folks out there. So be safe. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner King.
I just want to thank Sadie's family for coming out tonight and pointing that out to everybody and how important that is, and just prayers for them and prayers for the country as we go through this election. Thank everybody for coming out tonight.
Thank you. Commissioner Shudo.
Quick shout out to Commissioner Eford won a major award, I believe,
Yes, he did.
for his profession and play. I can't remember the exact one, but it was a pretty major one. And then just want to remind people to get out and vote. Whether you vote all Democrat, all Republican, or split your ticket, it's important to go out and vote. And then just to remind people of what happened in 2000. In that election came down to Florida. And what's totally amazing is that 5,825,043 people voted, and the split between Al Gore and George Bush was 537 votes. That's after about the 40th time they recounted them or something like that. But it's just amazing how close that was. And this election may come down to that. I think in that same year, it was New Mexico only had a difference of 343 votes separated the two. So go out and just make sure your voice is heard. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. We need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Who wanted to second it? Commissioner Shuto, all in favor? Let's leave.